Hello everybody and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary. Today I'm here to talk to you about another craft distillery called New Riff Distillery. Now this is one that, like a lot of the ones that catch my eye, there was something to it. And I happen to actually see this on a friend of mine, My Bourbon Journey. He was kind of the first one to review this, and I saw that and I looked at this bottle and I said, I gotta get my hands on that bottle. So I actually reached out to the company because they're not available in my area, but I really wanted it, and I asked them to send me a bottle for review purposes, so they did. Anyway, my opinions as always are my own. That being said, let me talk to you about the distillery a little bit. So in 2014, in Newport, Kentucky, a new distillery was started, the New Riff Distillery. And it was started by a family from all different career paths, all different walks of life, all kind of came together as a family to start a distillery with the idea that if all of them have proper buy-in, they don't need to kind of sell out to any investors and they can do things the way that they want to. I love this about craft distilleries, and you'll hear this same kind of story fairly often. It's always somebody with a passion for whiskey that chose to make whiskey the way that they want to. And that's exactly what New Riff is doing. So their whole thing, you know, every craft distillery, and I've said this before, they always have something like a gimmick. And gimmick, don't take that as a negative term in this case. It's just more something to stand out. In the case of these guys, they're all about clarity, and almost to a ridiculous point that I don't think I've seen before. So for example, let me talk to you about the bottle, right? So the bottle itself, other than looking cool, and I'll talk about that in a minute too, they've got that this was distilled in 2014, like right here on the label. They've got the, it aged for 4 years. They've got the mash bill on the back. It's 60% corn, 35% rye, and 5% malted barley. And it's bottled in bond. It's chill filtered. Like literally everything is on the bottle. When you see this bottle, you can tell exactly what you're going to get. And I love that. I wish more places would do that. It drives me crazy when I have no clue what's in the whiskey. So everything about this seems cool, right? And then you top it off, you gotta admit, this is a cool looking bottle, right? It's kind of reminiscent of the Glenmorangie Signet, right? It's got that gradient going on, and it gets you excited to have the bottle before you even open it. And actually, for those of you that choose to go to their website, their enthusiasm on their website is contagious. I found myself like getting really excited to have a sip of this before I ever did. Speaking of which, let's go into the nosing and the tasting. So when you nose this first, remember that it's 50% ABV, so don't inhale too deep, but shouldn't be too much of a problem if I remember correctly. Not a problem at all, smooth as butter. So the number one thing that you're gonna get is butterscotch, right? That's the first thing that I get out of here. Then you get kind of a hint of oak. It's not super oaky, which sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't. It depends. This time I happen to like it. I think it melds well with the butterscotch. Then you've got vanilla, which is very clearly apparent, and almost a little hint of the rye, which at 35% I would have expected to get more, but I'm not picking up a ton of it. It's there, but it's not that like burny kind of thing that rye can sometimes do. All right, anyway, let's go for the taste. Cheers. So that's where the rye comes out. So you're gonna get the rye for sure, but it's also a little bit more oaky than the nose. And you're gonna get a lot of kind of like a sweet vanilla, almost trying to think of what to compare it to. Have you ever made your own ice cream before and made vanilla ice cream and actually scooped like the vanilla beans out of the pod? If you were to smell the vanilla bean pod, it's extremely sweet, but then it obviously smells like vanilla. That's how this tastes, if that makes a lot of sense. A little bit of clove in there, and actually a little bit of mint now that I'm talking and kind of getting it on the back of my tongue, and it's drying out a little bit. There's actually a very heavy influence of mint, more so than I can think of in recent memory. Just all around, like kind of all over the place, but all of it melds very well together too. I wouldn't say this is a super complex whiskey, but I would say that it's got enough there to keep you interested, and you'll probably pick up new things as you go. So let me talk about New Riff overall. I might sound like I'm gushing, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm not, but this is a $40 bottle. This is a $40 100 proof bourbon that's non-chill filtered, bottled in bond. I love the art style is awesome. You can tell, those of you that have watched the channel for a while know that I'm in software, so art is a huge component of software. You work with a lot of designers and stuff, and so I personally do as well. And that's an area that I personally take interest in. So when I see something that's well designed and well thought out, it gets me more excited. So I'm totally gushing, 100%. Not even going to pretend, but I think it's due, right? I will say the very first time, this is going to sound totally lame, but I promise this is the truth. The very first time that I tasted this, I actually said wow out loud, which I can think of a few whiskeys that's happened. The Corey Vrecken, the Signet, actually Pikesville. There's a few whiskeys that I've literally just been like, wow. And this was one of them. So New Riff Distillery is so promising in my mind. I hope that they expand faster. I think they're available in 17 states right now, but I'll double check that and post, and I'll correct myself if I'm wrong here. But they're expanding. I know that for sure. I know that they have a rye and I think an American whiskey as well. So they've got more stuff coming. The bottles even look cool. So if you can't find this, ask your local liquor store to see if they can get it. Because, I mean, you guys know which liquor stores are close to you that will kind of fulfill custom orders. Talk to those people. Get the word out about this whiskey. I totally think in a couple of years, this is going to be on shelves across the entire country. So, and you guys have seen how many whiskeys I've tasted. For me to be this excited about a new one, a craft distillery, is very rare. So thank you for joining me here on the Whiskey Dictionary. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'm gonna go sit on my couch and enjoy the rest of this before I even film my next episode, because I don't want this one to go to waste. Cheers.